My story was inspired by an article titled "Salmon Plastic Jizz Mug?" Question mark.
What?
Yeah,
That was the title of the article?
there's one of the
That
articles.
sounds
There's many
like
articles
a-
about this.
That sounds like a beauty pie video or something.
It sounds like really bad clickbait.
Yeah.
Like someone's going to click. Ooh, yes.
Salmon plastic
Yeah,
jizz
salmon
mug.
Sounds
plastic
like one
jizz
of those
mug,
things
yeah,
you'd see
yeah.
on Wish, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's just been made as like a conglomeration of random words put together.
Yeah. No correlation.
Random product generator.
Is this a salmon-colored plastic mug for your jizz? And that's what it is.
It is a
I'm
plastic
locking
mug
it in.
that involves jizz. It's not salmon. Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
You could probably make it salmon coloured.
I'm sure you could. Although
What
you
do
probably
you,
have an
what do
issue.
you think it might be without reading my notes?
Salmon plastic jizz mug. Every time I say it, I'm like, what am I saying?
I have to say, I know exactly what it is, and I'm enjoying watching you try and figure it out.
Is it a mug made out of plastic made out of salmon and jizz formed into some plastic? Do you get salmon, you get
Close.
jizz, you create some hydrocarbons that are like plastic, and then you make that into a mug?
Close. It's made out of salmon jizz.
Oh.
But yes, you turn salmon jizz into plastic.
Why is it not
and they've
salmon
made a
jizz plastic mug? Why is it salmon plastic
I'm just
jizz
reading
mug?
the article as it was written.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
You can take it up with them. Anyway, some researchers in China have discovered this new method of making plastic out of sperm and some vegetable oil, essentially. Not vegetable oil, a chemical in vegetable oil.
I was going to say, with vegetable oil and a little bit of elbow grease, you could get some sperm. You've got everything there all in one.
Corey.
Goodness
I'm just
me.
saying.
Control yourself.
I am perfectly controlled.
By the way, this being a clip, I want us to upload it as salmon plastic jizz mug.
Question mark.
Can we? I don't think we can.
Salmon plastic jizz mug.
I don't think that's. I don't. Is that clickable?
I don't care.
No, that's the meme.
point.
That's the-
That is exactly the point.
Someone titled the article
In
that.
the thumbnail, maybe.
No, just the title.
So Daeyong, I think names. I'm so sorry. Daeyong Yang and his colleagues at Tianjin University have developed this new method of making plastic. The basis of the plastic is made from taking 2 short strands of DNA from some salmon sperm and combining it with a chemical that's found in vegetable oil, and voila, you have the plastic. You get a whole bunch of it, put it together, and it makes a substance called hydrogel, which is soft and flexible and malleable, and you can form it into structures. And then if you have a structure, you can basically dry freeze it, which takes out all the moisture, and then you have this solid plastic, which you can use. You're almost on the brink of laughing.
No, not at all.
I'm just enjoying the story very much.
I just feel like I could make some hydrogel like very easily at home. It doesn't sound very difficult.
Oh yeah, as long as you've got some vegetable oil. And
Some
couple
Some
minutes.
spare time.
So researchers have already used this method to create a sperm mug. Also some spermy puzzle pieces.
Sorry, hold on.
Oh,
I love
spermy puzzle pieces.
one of the things that they made is like the most like
Something
obviously
you
this is for
drink
publicity. Yeah, it's something that like what is the one item you wouldn't want to be made out of jizz? A mug. Oh my god.
Make my morning coffee in my cum mug.
I'll tell you this. Honestly, this is I don't even know how. I had a jizz mug story that was my favorite jizz mug story of all time. This has replaced it.
Right.
Good.
We now have 2 jizz mug stories.
Yeah, we do.
How exciting.
Amazing.
And we can't tell you the other one, I'm afraid.
Oh, God.
One day.
I do know the other one.
It's not about any of us, so stop imagining.
Now, theoretically, this plastic could be made using any DNA found anywhere. I could not find a reason as to why they chose salmon sperm. We can imply things from later on.
Probably because it is easy to get and collect.
How?
That's
How
what
is
I
it
was gonna
easy
do.
to get and collect?
Because salmon they're in the water, and you don't need they don't have external genitalia, so you don't need to.
Do they just spray it into the water?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they spray it over eggs, so
Okay.
you just need to get salmons that are ready to pop.
But is it easy to get in large quantities? Because
Probably, yeah.
you
Have a salmon
there's
farm.
probably more salmon than there is salmon jizz, and if you can use any DNA, then you could just use the salmon DNA rather than the jizz.
Yeah, but the jizz is probably an easy to collect.
Right.
It's probably easy to collect rather than like having to process the cells for.
Probably because it's easier to take the strands from. It's probably
Yeah.
easier to get the actual individual DNA strands from out of it, as opposed to other things which hopefully in the future we can take this DNA from like algae or bacteria or crops or something, because there is an estimated 50 billion tons of DNA on Earth.
Make a lot of mugs.
Just sitting around doing
Just
nothing.
sitting around doing nothing. Yeah, we could. Well,
What a
why are we not
waste.
making plastic? Why do you think we'd want to make plastic in this way?
Well, because we don't want to dig up oil anymore.
It's probably
That's one
renewable,
reason.
isn't it?
It's quite renewable. Yeah,
Is it
Sustainable.
biodegradable?
Just have to make more salmon.
Is it biodegradable or does it?
Yes.
It is.
It is biodegradable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've been able to make biodegradable plastic this whole time.
Man, like, oh, look at you! You're digging in the ground for the black oil. I got salmon
I put
jizz.
salmon in it. Yeah.
Salmon,
Oh,
like
by accident, I've made some.
that seems like much easier to get. Like salmon jizz seems obviously the techniques to get it into plastic are,
Yeah.
you know, probably a little bit more complex. But it feels like salmon jizz is a lot easier to collect than oil.
From deep in the earth.
And plus, if you spill your salmon jizz, oh no, we have more salmon that we can now eat, as opposed to spilling your, normal plastic making stuff, which means, oh no, we have destroyed the ocean again.
It's also
Yeah.
fantastic because if you're running a salmon farm, the whole meat production industry tries to make stuff out of all its leftovers. You got like the bones that can be melted down and used for gelatin. The eyes, you can probably smush them up and make them into cat food or something. Now you got something you can do with all that jizz. Great news.
All that jizz.
What are we going
What
to
a
do with all this
sentence.
jizz?
Just buckets, buckets and buckets of jizz.
So plastic as it exists as we know it, regular old plastic is not environmentally friendly. We have to drill it out of the ground. It also requires like a lot of energy to take the oil and make it into plastic, which is bad for pollution. It's bad for carbon emissions. Not very good for the planet either. Even like common biodegradable plastics need this like energy to be created, to be made into the plastic. Plastic also takes a very, very long time to deteriorate. Just common plastic, sometimes centuries of decomposition. Most of it goes into landfill or is incinerated, which is obviously not ideal when we produce a metric fuck ton of it every single year. So Yang's new DNA plastic mostly eliminates both of these problems. The DNA plastic produces 97% fewer carbon emissions than common polystyrene plastics, and it also decomposes quite quickly. And you can also use DNA-eating enzymes to help
just snip it
accelerate
up,
the
yeah.
decomposition. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just not use it in labs then. That'd be a bit of an issue, wouldn't it?
Why?
What are you going to hold your DNA eating enzyme in?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll put my DNA eating
for
enzyme
good-
in this
oh,
plastic
goodness.
tube. Oh,
It's on
God.
the floor.
yeah.
That's fascinating.
You also wouldn't be able to use it with any liquid because as it is made of hydrogel, the one downside of it is that as soon as it comes into contact with water, it goes really malleable and flexible again.
Oh, well, lucky for us, we live on a very dry planet with no water anywhere.
Famously
and we
dry.
never use plastic to store water or anything remotely wet ever.
But why did they make a mug?
I don't know.
Probably is a joke.
What do they
They're
put
probably
that
not.
mug?
It's like
they're
a
probably not
chocolate
put anything.
it's like
in
a
it.
chocolate
It's
teapot,
honestly probably just for
isn't it?
PR.
I would argue that they haven't made a mug because the primary purpose of a mug is to hold liquid.
No, I think they have made a mug.
No.
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 Wait, hold on. Wait, so it becomes malleable, right?
Yeah, it doesn't just completely dissolve. It's just becomes a bit more flexible.
Okay, so then you do still have a mug. You've just got a
A floppy mug.
floppy mug.
floppy mug.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Floppy mug made a
my
cum.
floppy semi-liquid mug.
that's crap. Then, no offense, mate, but
Listen, I'm not saying it's
no, I just
revolution.
mean look. All I mean is if you're gonna say we've made a plastic, yeah, sure, it can't get wet. That's like. That's like a bloody. That's like Mogwai rules, right?
Imagine
like
they make plastic bags out of it, and you pick one up from the shop.
you're
and you-
walking in
it
the
rains.
rain.
You're bringing your milk home, and the milk just falls as the condensation on the milk just falls through.
Christ, you make an umbrella out of it, and you're like, whoosh, and it just goes floppy. Like okay, I'm sure there are probably many uses for plastic, wherein it can stay absolutely dry, but literally none of them are coming to mind right now.
Yeah,
Well, and also,
you-
it can stay absolutely dry,
Yeah.
as in it's not humid. It's not there's not going to be some water spilled on it.
Well, maybe there's a certain level of water, like it needs to be like sort of submerged in water. Maybe it can withstand a little bit of.
Yeah, it does. It is. You have to be soaked in it for it to go properly malleable.
Okay.
But any exposure to water is
Such
obviously.
as
But that
how
is-
you use a mug.
I suppose that's useful. It's useful in terms of I mean, if it dries out again, I assume it goes back to normal.
But,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it would
well,
go back
as
to
soon
normal
as-
in the wrong shape. It's
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
that's what I mean.
return to its shape.
It's
It'll
then
be a wonky mug.
reusable, isn't it?
Sorry,
It's then reusable.
it's not reusable.
It is.
No,
No, as in you can. Okay, so you've made a plastic thing.
Right.
Get a new mug every time.
Let's say you've made it as a plastic cover for I don't know, food.
yeah.
Right. That instead of throwing away that plastic, you can just recycle it, recyclable kind of, but you just send it somewhere, they clean it, and they reshape it.
Yeah.
Whatever they need.
Yeah, as long as your food is bone dry.
Lots of foods are dry. Rice.
Until you get it wet.
I could say that for absolutely anything. In fact,
But you do put rice in water to cook it.
Hold on. Yeah, but do you put the plastic container for your rice in the water? No.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, if you wanted to use it, sorry,
How are you cooking rice?
I've just realised.
But
Yeah,
you
I'm on your level now.
I'm not getting into this.
No, it does say the most likely use cases would be dry uses of plastic, some packaging, or in electronics somewhere where you're probably not going to find water.
No, sorry, hold on. How many electronics get water damaged all the No, absolutely not. That would imagine
Some
that.
don't.
Like, oh sorry, your phone got a little bit water damaged, and instead of being largely probably fine and fixable, it's gone floppy.
It's like, oh, the insides have dissolved.
Like, whoops! What is this? What is this weird substance leaking out of my mouth? Oh, okay.
Oh, don't worry, that's just salmon.
It's just some
cum.
jizz.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, it happens a lot.
Oh, fantastic, great.
Maybe we should get some jizzy mugs to
Well, that's
drink from. Well, it wouldn't work, but
well,
We'll
we
just have
can give
them.
it a go.
decorative.
I will say this though, it's really nice that we found a use for salmon jizz, because I have had I've just got a surplus of it and I've not known what to do with it.
Other than making other salmon.
Yeah, but it gets boring after a while, doesn't it?
I know.
You
One
know?
trick pony.
Exactly. Don't even get me started on the ponies. Anyway. If you enjoyed that clip, head over to patreon.com/Sci Guys, where you can find the full show. Or you can stay here and catch up on old Sci Guys episodes. Or you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sci Guys Pod to find out when we're doing more live shows.